Hello, everyone. Hope your Thanksgiving was wonderful. I know I did. I had a chance to do some rest and relaxation and just reflect on some of the things that have happened this year, some that were good and some that weren't so good. But I hope you had a chance to be with your families and at least, if not in person, you did FaceTime or did Zoom or something like that. Um, I never even thought, I guess, even in my wildest dreams, that I would not be able to be with my family on Thanksgiving, but such as it is, and the season that we're in. And despite everything, um, it could be worse. And so we need to be aware that others may not be as fortunate as us. So we need to be grateful. And that is the topic for today. I was reflecting on Thanksgiving and I was wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And I said, well, what am I thankful for? Am I really tuning into that message? Because there's a lot in that message. And I realized that maybe I was just saying it just out of habit or just to be saying it because it's politically correct, you know. So I decided to delve a little deeper into Thanksgiving. And I felt that being grateful was something that everyone should acknowledge and know about. And there are some benefits to being grateful that cannot, a lot of times, cannot be measured. People say they are feeling better, but I just want to just touch on some of those things today. And maybe that'll perk you up. Maybe that'll give you something else to think about. So we'll just wait a few more minutes. I am in New Hampshire, and the temperature here is on the cold side. Fortunately, it's not snowing. It was snowing about 2 days ago. And so I have to be prepared for any kind of weather, whether it's snow or rain. And I think I've already done that. So I'm not sure if I have snow tires though. So I try not to do a lot of driving during the snow. So today, let us talk about being grateful and think about some of the things that we should be grateful for that maybe we didn't think of before. So during Thanksgiving, and I guess during optimal times, everybody had, the turkey, the dressing. Some people went into doing a seafood Thanksgiving and all the dressings that they wanted to put on there. But this year is not the same because of COVID and the request that we not do a lot of large gatherings. So I looked at some of the other things that we could do and realized that maybe, excuse me, for some people, it is a very trying time. And I'm not negating that in any way. Um, but we should look at some of the things that we have and be grateful for those things. Some people have had a very rough time during COVID, this COVID season. Um, some of us have, being prayer for many family members and friends during this time. The thing that I think bothers me the most, I think that bothered me the most about, and still does, is the uncertainty. And that can bring up emotions of all types and can make you feel unsteady and not kind of know where you're going. And kind of that's how it is for a lot of people. Sometimes the children are in school, sometimes they're not in school. Parents have to, rush around to make arrangements for them, and the children themselves feel the same thing. They feel uncertain. Now, I want to just go back and explore again just some pointers from our lecture on mindset. Mindset, we discovered, can be negative, and negative mindsets can prevent us from moving forward with our goals, and it can paralyze us in some ways because we kind of whatever we kind of cultivate in our minds, our body and our feelings and our actions follow suit. So if we are consistently thinking negative thoughts, we will start doing negative things. Also, we found out that our mind, we are thinking mostly negative thoughts most of the time. And so we have to be very careful of that. And just like you can cultivate a negative mindset, you can cultivate a positive mindset. And gratefulness plays a role in creating a positive mindset for us. It moves us from feeling sad about certain things and makes us feel good about where we are and what we're doing, even if life circumstances are not all that positive. And there are times that I meet people who may have had very, very, very tragic health histories. They may have had kidney transplant, and that failed, and now they're back on dialysis. But sometimes you'll meet people who say, at least I'm alive. I can be with my family, and I'm happy to be there. I want to see my grandkids. And they're very positive, even though they've had very difficult circumstances. Likewise, you can meet someone that doesn't have that many complications in their life, but always has something negative to talk about. And generally, these people are not very grateful people. So let's talk about what gratitude is. Gratitude is being appreciative for what someone has done for you, whether it's a group, friends, family, or strangers. Grateful people look at the goodness in life, and they are not looking at everything that's wrong in life. Most people recognize where the source of the goodness is coming from. For example, you're waiting in a line in the grocery store, and you only have three pieces of groceries, and you don't want to wait in the line where there it's supposed to be less than 10, but you've seen some people with a cart full. So you go to a line that's supposed to be a little less crowded, but the one in front of you has like a cart full of food, and the person turns around and says, well, why don't you go ahead in front of me? And you say, well, yes, thank you. And that's a time for being grateful, especially if you have some other things you have to do. And recognizing that makes all the difference in the world. As we know, these things can come up all of a sudden, and we thank the person, but just think of how good that makes you feel. It has been found that any form of gratefulness can make you feel happy. Now, isn't that something just so mundane as being grateful can make us feel happy? Expressing gratitude causes positive emotions. We often have feelings of pleasure and contentment, and these feelings improve our overall well-being and health. Let me repeat that. We often have feelings of pleasure and contentment, and these feelings improve our overall being and health. Now, when we were growing up, just wanted to plug this in, my mom made a very big point of making us tell Aunt Sally or Miss Mary down the street that we were thankful for whatever gift we got. And at that point, I really didn't want to go through all that, but I didn't realize, but she was setting me up to express gratefulness and to be grateful for things that people who have done for us. And I'm just realizing now that was just practice for what I do now. People who have gratefulness have less stress, and they also tend to have good quality sleep overall. Practicing gratefulness helps us remember the good experiences now and in the future. Have you ever kind of start thinking about some of the good things that have happened in your life? I remember passing this test in undergrad, and I didn't, I thought I had studied everything, but I didn't. And the professor, ignored whatever I got wrong on there and just gave me a passing grade. I was grateful for that. So think about it. I thanked him profusely, but I felt really good when that happened. In a recent study, uh, one researcher decided he was going to try to measure or find out what happens with gratefulness. One group, all they had to do in 1 week was to write down all the things they were grateful for. A second group, the only thing they had to write down were things that aggravated them to the utmost, and then some in between. In another group, he just asked them to write down things that just happened that week. After 10 weeks, they found that the people who wrote down about their gratefulness had greater feelings of happiness. They had no complaints on their ratings. And many of these people actually started to do more positive things with their life, such as exercising, and overall just did not complain. Now, a lot of times we cannot actually measure gratefulness. We only know that there's a positive correlation between being grateful and what people self-report. The study cannot show cause and effects like they do with other studies that we may have, but truly, there is some correlation found in people who express their gratefulness on a regular basis, and that's what this study showed. Key point to remember: gratitude is a way people appreciate what they have instead of what they do not have. Gratitude also shows us that trying to get more and more material things is not going to make us happy. Sometimes just the things that we have are sufficient enough, especially in these times when things are not the way they were before. Gratitude in, bad circumstances can make you feel more stronger, more resilient, and able to withstand some of the things that you're experiencing. So, suppose you're not one of these persons that practices gratefulness. Suppose you're just like, look, I'm just going to tell the truth no matter what happens. And why do I have to be grateful for things that are not in my favor? Now, we're not asking you to be grateful for things that are going wrong, but oftentimes there is something positive that is going on. It may be something small. It may be, I found a parking spot and I was running late for my appointment, and this person let me get in just in the nick of time. It may be that I went into the store And I was going to purchase one item, but when I got there, it was buy one, get one free. So that may be nothing consequential, but you can be grateful for something like that. Now let's talk about some ways to express our gratitude. Many people, and you can come up with your own, many people have maybe a specific gift they want to give to someone. It could be a person's favorite food, or a favorite T-shirt, or a favorite statement, or whatever you know the person likes or enjoys. You can give that to them, and they will be very grateful also. One thing that I have used is, and you may have seen this, they're called edible arrangements. And I like edible arrangements, but I like giving them also. And one time I sent one and didn't put my name on it, and the person, I ended up calling the person back later, and the person said, well, we couldn't figure out who sent this to us because it was a surprise. And but the person was grateful, and I felt very happy about it too. Gift cards are always good things to give, especially for the person's favorite restaurant or favorite store. Of course, I thought about going out to dinner, but in certain places you just really can't go out to dinner. All the restaurants are closed, and in some places they only do. They're only allowing you to go and pick up. So that's out of the question for right now. When we're doing social distancing and we have to wear masks anyway. You can also send an email or a text message saying, I was thinking about you and just thought about something that we did, and I was so grateful about it. The other thing that we may not do a lot, and I remember when I was younger, your parents always said, look, you need to be grateful because there's someone in another country that doesn't have as much as you, and you should take stock in that and stop grumbling. And you could always you memorize what they were saying, but they were telling the truth. They were really telling the truth. So counting your blessings, or counting the good things that are happening to you, is something you may want to keep track of. You may want to do this on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. But when you go back and look at all the blessings that you have and all the good things that have happened, you cannot deny that, yes, circumstances may not be what you want them to be. But if you start taking a tally, you will realize that there's still some goodness going on, and there's still a lot of good people. The other thing you may want to pay attention to is how you're feeling when you're documenting the things that you're grateful for. At times, you may find your heart is full and feeling very happy. In another way, very overwhelmingly happy, especially for things that may have occurred that you did not anticipate. Some people feel keeping a journal is necessary. You can have a journal and write down everything in that journal that gives you this, that you feel grateful for. And just like with counting your blessings, writing stuff down just means a whole lot. And it's there, and you can go back and reflect on it. I had a very interesting incident happen. And I had a friend who just, whenever we went somewhere, just really did not like paying for tolls. And the person would grumble, I wonder what they're doing with this money. And they're probably not even using it for what they say they're using it for. So as we're driving into the toll lane, she was getting out her money. I said, look, I'll pay for it. She said, no, 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 I'll pay for it. And she gets to the person who's taking the money for the toll, and the person says to her, you don't have to pay anything because the person in front of you paid for the toll. I looked at her and she looked at me, and it was like, uh-oh. So she got out of the toll lane and drove up real quick to thank the person who hadn't picked up a lot of speed for paying for the toll. So things can happen that you did not expect, and strangers can do nice things for you. And I was so happy she was grateful for that, for them paying the toll. And I didn't hear another peep about paying tolls as we drove further on our journey. Yes, sharing pictures can also be a way of doing that. Sharing a picture you did on a vacation can be a way of showing gratitude. Um, there are many, many ways we can show our gratitude. And I challenge you this week to start writing down things that you are grateful for. No, maybe you couldn't get that gift you really wanted this year, but maybe you were able to get something different. Also, being grateful is catchy. I've noticed that when I'm telling people that I'm grateful for certain things, especially friends and family, they pick up on that too. And they decide, maybe I should start doing the same thing. Sometimes they reciprocate. For example, getting back to my friend with the toll. So, of course, we were still driving, and there was another toll coming up. So, because of the generosity of another fellow toll payer, she decides to pay the toll for the next person. So she reciprocated. And I asked her, I said, well, do you feel better now? She said, yeah, I'm not going to talk about paying for tolls anymore. The other person came behind her and put 2 thumbs up. So she felt really good about that. So always think about some of the good things that are happening to you when you think about being grateful. Because sometimes just those little things can make the difference. Now, recently, I was listening to T.D. Jakes, and I am going to reference his sermon called The Rainmaker. Evidently, he was on a mission trip to an African country because their church was helping with wells in a specific location. As you know, in some parts of Africa, there's no wells, and unless they get help to build them. And as he was flying in the helicopter, it started to rain. In his mind, he was calculating, oh no, I hope, the plane doesn't go down, or, we're going to have some problems because of the rain situation. And as he was going through these thoughts in his mind, he overheard the pilot say, look, Pastor, you've brought the rain. We haven't had any rain in a while. He said he was struck by the fact that this person was overjoyed because they were getting rain. And he said, I didn't even think about it that way. He says, when I'm at home, I just turn the water on and the water is there. I don't even have to worry about whether there's water or not. And then when they landed safely. The children were overjoyed. People were dancing in the streets about the rain. And he said, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how grateful they were for the rain. So the moral of the story is, it depends on how you look at things. T.D. Jakes was looking at it in one specific vein, whereas his host saw it as a blessing. And he was grateful for the rain because they didn't have rain in their locality for a while. So I want to leave you with that. And I want to leave you with the fact that gratefulness can be cultivated. If you're not one of these people that want to be thankful for things or grateful for things, it takes practice just like anything else. And you're going to gain more benefits than you really think. So let me close today and thank you for your listening. My name is Dr. Hope Watts, board certified family physician, health coach, speaker, and lifestyle expert. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful week, and remember to be grateful.